sir. Hello again, my friends. Good evening on a Monday night, and welcome into the Interdimension Network for what we are seeing in the NBA. It comes right after midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific. That, of course, folks, it finally happened. But per breaking news from ESPN, Shams Charania, the Milwaukee Bucks have finally cut the cord and have cut loose Giannis Antetokounmpo alongside Bobby Portis Jr., sending them off to the Miami Heat for Tyler Hero, 3 other players, and a massive haul of draft capital, including Miami's number 13 overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft taking place on Tuesday, alongside Nick Morgeson and Ben Cruz. Cal McClure joining you here this evening. Mr. Morgeson, instant reaction, my man. What do you got? My goodness.
Is it shocking? No. Is it the team I thought it was going to be? No. So, I don't know, man. This is interesting. I mean, just looking at it from a standpoint of, I mean, we have the one fan in here who thought his team was going to end up with Giannis, but you know what? The exact thing happened that I thought was going to happen. The Heat completely dismantled their roster to acquire a star that is not going to stay healthy all year round. And they traded away Tyler Hero and they traded away Jaquez. So is this really a good trade for them? I'm not 100% sure if this is a really good trade for them. At least that's my initial reaction to the top of this.
I mean, Ben Cruz also joining us here from Beantown, from the Boston area. Ben, obviously, we've all in a way kind of been keeping our eyes on this. Maybe you more than anybody else. I've been watching the World Cup in baseball today, as I have been for network coverage here. But I mean, I think Nick's right though that you should not be surprised about the fact that Giannis was being traded. I think, though, it was more about would a team want to take that proverbial gamble and basically deplete their roster to get a player in Giannis who's 31 going on 32, missed a lot of time last season, did have that championship victory 5 years ago. But for the massive package of the 4 players listed on the banner here of Hero, Ware, and Hawkins Jr. and Jakuncius alongside the draft capital going to Milwaukee, Ben, your reaction to this trade is what?
Yeah, I'm a little stunned. I ain't gonna lie, and I said it, on a quick IG live before coming on air that, look, if you told me about a week or two ago, I felt like we were kind of on the outskirts, looking in, and then, waking up this morning, it looked like the tides, of course, turned, and you had the Chris Haynes report a couple hours ago saying we were in the front. It just kind of comes to show with a lot of these reports that are kind of back and forth. A lot of the guys you just don't know. I mean, even though a lot of the guys are tied in, and something must have happened. I would say probably between the 10th, the 9 o'clock and 11 o'clock hour, in which the Celtics offer just was not enough. And I picked Miami between us, so I was not surprised. It was kind of gutting kind of the way it kind of ended because I thought we actually had a pretty good chance. But it was as clear as day. They traded a lot. They traded a ton of capital for him for as great as an overall type of player he is. And this is not me going into Cope session now. He just has not been staying healthy, ever really since he's won that championship on a consistent basis. And now the biggest thing, and of course I can kind of talk about in terms of what's next for us now. After losing him, Miami, of course, they've had to make a type of big splash. They haven't made a type of big splash in a long period of time. They missed out on a ton of big-time stars. And they kind of know as an overall franchise, like they want to kind of be, I won't say the villain again, but to get a big-time guy and to pair up with Bam Adebayo. And, Miami was really not talking about moving Bam either. So I think maybe it was kind of like behind the scenes of we want to maybe pair up a guy with Bam, and now they have a terrorizing front court. But it's all about can he stick around and be healthy. And, Pat Riley has been shown that he has not gone out and got that big guy. He's missed out on a ton of guys. And I think the biggest guy to take a look at what happens next is Brad Stevens. Jaylen Brown, a long-term core piece for our Celtics. He was rumored in the trade for Kevin Durant a couple of years ago. That's, of course, did not happen. He was obviously rumored in tonight's trade. And I think the biggest turning point was the Celtics' reluctance to move on from Hugo Gonzalez, the rookie, in the package, and they decided not to do it. So I think that was the biggest thing, and I think that Miami was kind of in the driver's seat from there behind the scenes, and that's how they got it done.
Yeah, but I have an issue with Jaylen Brown a little bit through the last couple of years of process. And by the way, he needs to get off Twitch. I'm a little tired of the Twitch, I have to go on and make people feel sorry for myself because I'm hearing what fans are saying in Boston and all over, fans that are NBA fans. Get over it, man. You're a much bigger and better athlete and star than these fans are. Stop trolling fans across social media because you don't like what they're saying. Okay, you know what? If he had been traded to Boston, I would have said that you guys lost the trade, big time, because Giannis is not going to stay healthy from the time he steps on the court in Boston. The guy can't stay on the court. He's had leg injuries, he's had arm injuries, had shoulder injuries. Do you really want to trade Jaylen Brown away for that?
No.
So that, you know what? As a Celtics fan, you should be thanking your lucky stars you didn't trade Jaylen Brown.
Well, and as great as it is for as great of a type of player he is, what type of play scheme would he fit? The Celtics are a very heavy 3-point type, heavy shooting type of team. He's going to want to have the ball a lot. He's going to want to have to drive to the paint and kind of run his whole entire show. I just don't like. I would love the overall type of player. I hate the fit. I just, as great as much of a Celtics fan I am, I just hate the type of like ISO. Okay, how are we going to kind of fit in this? Jaylen Brown's at least already proven that he knows in terms of how to play with the overall style. That's the biggest thing I will say. I'm very relieved about that.
I think Miami screwed themselves with this trade.
They gave a ton. They really did.
And look at the, first of all, big mistake trading Tyler Hero away. He's fit inside that scheme for years. Even with the playoff runs, had to play second fiddle to Jimmy Butler. Look what happened to him. He got hurt and then he was out. And then he said, I don't want to be here. He forced his way to Golden State. They've had stars. You can go all the way back to the Big Three era when they had LeBron and D Wade and Bosh. And look what happened to Bosh. Now, I would never wish what happened to Bosh on my worst enemy whatsoever.
Blood clotting.
But if you think about it, Miami has gotten stars, but it's never worked out in the long run. They've won titles. And by the way, everyone's going to say LeBron was the lead of the pack. It was really Dwayne Wade's team.
Oh, yeah. That was Dwayne Wade's team across the board. You know, there's no other way of putting it. Now, by the way, to dive a bit further in the weeds here, folks, again, breaking news here on ETB. If you're just joining us here tonight, again, the Bucks have officially announced their intentions to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo alongside Bobby Portis Jr. to Miami for Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Harquez Jr., and also 19-year-old Lithuanian player Kasperius Jakučionis. 3 first-round picks, including the Heat's number 13 pick in Tuesday night's draft, 1 pick swap, and 1 second-round pick, all per ESPN sources. With the Heat sending to Milwaukee unprotected first-round picks in 2031 and 2033, plus the number 13 pick, a pick swap in 2030 and 2033, second-round picks per sources. Now, the big story, though, here, Nick and Ben, is this. As of right now, this trade will not, per reporting, include any additional teams. It is a legitimate one-to-one move per sources, but both Milwaukee and in Miami will pull the trade off July 6th, which leaves the framework open to see if there are other opportunities to expand the trade. As you might recall, last June, Phoenix and Houston pulled off that KD trade that required 5 other teams to take part in that historic 7-team trade.
So I just got a list from Crispy Haynes, who is done work for TNT and a bunch of other platforms. According to sources, the 3 teams Giannis was open to signing an extension with were Miami, Boston, and Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another report also from Chris Haynes, and also Legion Hoops, saying Giannis told the Bucks he'd sign a long-term deal with the Timberwolves if they paired him with Anthony Edwards. Which, if you think about it, that kind of makes sense a little bit.
And here we even speculated when Nate Miller was on the air tonight on Given Takes, when the news broke of that trade that also broke on Monday with Knicks Brooklyn Nets, with the Timberwolves and the Bulls regarding Julius Randle heading to Brooklyn. Some picks were also there. The Wolves also gave a 5-year, $112 million contract to, I believe, a Sumo. Got that big deal from Minnesota. And I even had wrote into Nate's program, is this maybe a late push here by the Wolves to try to free up some salary to try to get Giannis in a trade somehow? And that obviously did not come to fruition, fellas.
Yeah. I mean, we already heard the rumors and the speculation that Shams had said earlier in the day that he was going to get traded before the draft one way or the other. Well, that did happen, but it happened at past midnight Eastern, which, if that doesn't sound like a news
like the
dump.
Luka trade, that was around 12:12, I think, right after midnight too.
Yeah, I would say so, because I had just finished working that night for indoor lacrosse and went to the Arena Chili's that I go to. Lo and behold, I sit down and have my first sip of Blue Moon for Morgeson, and the news breaks right there about Doncic going to the Lakers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I also don't like the fit, and people are going to, whatever. I don't care. I think differently than everybody when it comes to being an NBA fan. But I don't like the matchup. Well, or matchup. I don't like the fit of Giannis and Bam. I don't like the fit.
It's two very high, like ISO 4 guys. Like, it's like you only have one ball in your hands. So
right, but now you're going to have two guys fighting for the ball every single time who want to touch the basketball. How are you doing that now? That's what I'm getting at. Like, it doesn't. So what? Now you're going to play two center ball? Is that what that means?
It kind of reminds me of like what the Cavs are trying to do with, Mobley and Allen. Two kind of big time guys in the back end, but I'd just say a little bit more just of athletic type of players. But can they mesh? That's the biggest question.
The trade is unbelievable to me as I'm seeing it for the first time, like a lot of people are. But they trade Hero, big mistake. That was their franchise guy.
Ware's a really good piece for the Bucks. I think to me that's my favorite piece is Clear Ware, because he's an up and coming player. They're going to really like him in Milwaukee.
But I don't understand from a Miami standpoint why you're trading Tyler Hero. Like,
yeah,
that was your centerpiece guy. Where I don't know much about. Jaime Jaquez Jr. was a really good player for Miami. They trade him away. Who did you keep? You basically depleted the roster to bring Giannis in.
I read here from Brett Seal reporting that reportedly that the Heat are trying to add some pieces for more depth, but I don't know.
But how are you doing that, though? If you already depleted the roster, how are you adding more to it?
Yeah, hell of a question.
Because that contract is going to cost you. Remember, he's not a free agent.
Right.
And I'm going to look up Giannis's deal just for to see what's left on it. Okay.
I mean, it's got to be nightmare fuel with how much is left on that deal.
So 26-27, that's this upcoming season, right? So he's going to make $58.5 million.
To probably be out for the whole season, sadly.
Why? He was recovering now.
Well, you never know. He comes back from a game and then he might get out again. Who knows?
Right. And then in 27-28, he's going to make almost $63 million. There's no way. There is. First of all, we all know the Miami Heat culture. They don't pay like that. That's never been the Miami way.
Did the no state income tax have to also do maybe to be a deal breaker in this? It had to probably be at some point.
I know, and everybody says that about Miami. Oh, it's no tax.
They just got Cal. We just talked about Brady Kachuk going down there, literally like 20.
Well, that was more of a separate entity about American players not wanting to play in Canada because of the taxes up north of the border.
Yeah.
Okay, so Legion Hoops just put out another report saying what the Celtics offered and what the Bucks declined.
Yeah.
So the Celtics offered Jaylen Brown 2 first-round picks and more for Giannis. The Bucks
it wasn't
declined.
that bad of an offer. I mean,
I think that's a better offer. Are you kidding me?
Something just tells me that Milwaukee wanted to fleece Miami one more time.
I mean, it would have been in the Eastern Conference one way or the other. It doesn't matter.
I can hang my head high saying that I thought like if it's one thing the offer was completely like the offer was fair. Like he just wanted to go to Miami. It's fine.
Yeah, but he's not going to win anything in Miami.
That's the best part about it.
And I'm not saying that to be facetious. I'm talking about from a basketball standpoint. Ben, you and I especially, Callan too, but Ben and I have watched a ton of basketball over the years. And we've seen our teams go up and down a lot over the years. I've seen the Nets go up and down. You've seen the Celtics go up and down over the years. To be honest, I think you guys would have struggled without Jaylen Brown, to be honest.
He was a finals MVP a couple years ago.
That's what's driving me crazy with this. That you were going to trade away a finals MVP. You made the finals a couple of years ago.
And he just fits the style better with us than Giannis.
And if I can, there's a bit more from the Shams story, but says that Milwaukee mainly chose Miami's offer from their perspective to bring in more flexibility and big picture approach with controlled contracts and long-term competitiveness for new head coach Taylor Jenkins, who was thrown out from Memphis, to imagine the next generation of Bucks basketball versus a veteran win-now superstar player-led package that immediately that puts immediate focus on the present with both Horst and Heat GM Andy Ellisberg finalizing the agreement on Monday night with Brad Stevens, saying in part that Stevens has not actively shopped Jaylen Brown in any trade talks per sources, but the franchise has now offered him twice for future Hall of Fame players over the last 4 seasons, including, as Ben may remember, he was the main trade chip for the Celtics' proposal to the Nets to get Kevin Durant back in 2022.
I just want to point out one thing.
I read something else here. This is a big one here. After you go, Nick.
So I guess from what Callan just said, and with the one Celtics fan in this room, how should Jaylen Brown feel that he's been offered up twice in a trade, considering he's a big name?
Disrespected?
I mean, listen, this is the biggest question because, I mean, unless there's a lot of other guys, I mean, Giannis obviously is a big one, but is there any other big-time guys, at least around the offseason right now? I mean, I guess like Kevin Durant's name was floated out there, possibly with Houston. I don't know. But, like, you know, is there any other guy right now that you're like, okay, Jaylen should be moved on from outside potentially a guy like this? No. I mean, I think as of right now, that's why Sham said it earlier today, that if Giannis doesn't go to Boston, that Jaylen is probably going to stick around. And, you know, maybe they ride out with him for one more year and then move on and maybe see, because the NBA is always crazy every single year with, you know, big-time stars. It just happens every year. Guys kind of move left and right. It's just all about, like, I love Jaylen a lot. I've defended him. I've loved him so much that, like, you know, I just want him to be either here or just, like, moving on and just be happy. That's what I want from him. That's the biggest thing.
I know, but it feels a little, if I was Jaylen Brown, now, by the way, you know my opinions on how Jaylen Brown has been acting over on social media.
It's been a little over top. He puts a lot out, I ain't going to lie.
But I understand partially why he's a little mad too.
No, I mean he's a 1A, so I mean,
but it has to kind of feel weird that they've offered him up. I think 3 times, if I remember correctly, he's been offered up in 3 separate trades.
Well, besides this one, I mean the one I only know really the best is Kevin Durant.
Which, in my opinion, I would take Jaylen Brown over Kevin Durant. Don't at me.
What I was also going to say as well was that we were kind of talking about how, like, trades like this happen and they don't fit. You guys were talking about, like, Giannis and Bam fighting over the ball. Why does that, from my perspective, bring back the memories of, even though they won 3 in a row, the Kobe Shaq drama with the Lakers, or even to go further, Kobe and Dwight Howard in 2011-12 that saw Mike Brown get fired in the middle of the season?
Yeah, I don't have a good answer for you on that.
I think this becomes more of a headache for Eric Spoelstra come next season for the Heat. With how do you go about playing these 2 guys on the floor together if you do?
Well, they're projecting Giannis as a forward on this lineup and Bam as a center. Now, I do think Bam plays more as a center and Giannis plays more as a forward, so that makes sense. But that's 2 large bodies out on the floor that are going to be, how do you spread the floor with 2 big men like that?
Yeah, I don't know if that strategy really works in the current day and age of the NBA anymore.
But the lineup they're talking about is Davion Mitchell, Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, Giannis, and Bam.
I don't know about that.
So I'm reading here the report that I was going to tell you guys. This was from Legion Hoops that I saw as well, and this was from Kevin O'Connor.
Oh,
Yeah,
Kevin O'Connor
Kevin
from
O'Connor
Yahoo.
said report. So I guess the Bucks owner Jimmy Haslam was a driving force in taking Miami's deal for Giannis over Boston. Haslam didn't want to risk Jaylen Brown wanting out of Milwaukee in a year after dealing with Giannis and having a Miles Garrett-esque type of trade demand.
I
Yeah,
guess that
but
makes sense,
but they don't
Haslam's
know
still a
that.
dumb owner.
But wait a minute, how they're assuming that without even knowing?
That's the thing. That does not make any sense.
First of all, Haslam is a terrible owner in the NFL. So
Yeah, I literally just said that. So
I'm legitimately on Miami and Milwaukee hate watch this season. I don't care.
But did you really want Giannis? Let's be real.
I was on. Yes and no. I mean, I would have loved it, but in terms of reality of sacrificing Jaylen Brown, no.
Well, let me ask you something. So let's say that trade goes through and you have Giannis, you lose Jaylen Brown, then Giannis gets hurt and misses a 4 to 5 week stretch of the season.
And Tatum is dealing with just Achilles too, and it's like Jaylen Brown last year. Jaylen Brown brought the Celtics to a 2 seed pretty much without Tatum, so he deserves essentially those flowers. I don't know what happens with Giannis. If Giannis got hurt, I don't know what happens.
Now, it's a fallacy of predetermined outcome. I think the Bucks were a bad team the last couple of years. I don't think it mattered if Giannis was healthy or not.
Yeah, they've been a bad team for the last 5 years since they won the championship. And, championship hangover is a thing, but not for 5 years in a row. But again, sometimes I think, though, in a sport like the NBA, NHL, the NFL, Major League Soccer, it's tougher to keep that title-winning core together because you're against all the, the salary caps and all the other nuances. And that once you win a title, then some of the guys will be like, okay, we won a title. Now where's my pay raise at?
And you have to remember,
to keep those teams together.
And you have to remember, in a salary cap driven sport, it's a lot harder. Like, they basically made a rule where you can't have a big three anymore because
that was the point I was getting at, was that it's tougher after you come off winning a title to keep the core together because salary constraints, and you'll have guys say, hey, now I want a pay bump because we just won a championship. That was my point.
I do think if Jaylen Brown gets traded, he'll go out to a West team, and I'd be completely okay with that. I actually, if he got moved, I didn't want him to be an East team because we've obviously had to face him a lot more. But I think right now, Nick, the guy that the Celtics I think are looking to move is Derek White, and I think I like Derek White, but he started kind of losing a little bit his fastball in the playoffs last year.
He's a streaky shooter.
Yep. And the guy I'm looking for the Celtics to get, and I said this all on, is Trey Murphy. I mean, this is a high-flying type of player, very good player defensively. He's literally, to me, a Derek White 2.0, but younger. That's the way I kind of look at it. And I think you could be able to replace White in that sense because you gotta get a little more athletic, I think, and then go to get your front court because the Celtics still need some front court. I think Neemias Queta is a great overall piece, but he's more of a backup. You really got to expose him and Vucevic against the Sixers last year in the playoffs. So go out. I mean, I've heard the rumors about Rudy Gobert. I don't know if I love that per se. I think you could probably upgrade a little bit better. Maybe a guy like Walker Kessler, but they got to do that.
By the way, for the betting show for UW, for those that are wondering, DraftKings Sportsbook has moved the Heat odds from 30-1 to 18-1 to win the NBA title.
How?
I don't know. Don't shoot the messenger. But it's what it says in Shams' story, that it went from 30-1 at the 9th shortest odds Monday morning to 18-1, 5th shortest at the DraftKings Sportsbook after the news of the trade broke on Monday night, which again, per Shams, will not be official till July the 6th.
Okay, but in my opinion, they did not make their team better. I don't think they made their team better. So you dropped Giannis into the Miami Heat roster. Like I said, you traded Hero away. You traded Jaquez away. You traded away draft picks. I don't know. What were the draft picks? Do we have what they were?
Yeah, the draft picks that were given up in the trade once more. It will include Miami's 13th overall pick in Tuesday's draft, 1 pick swap, and 1 second-round pick. Per ESPN, the Heat will send Milwaukee unprotected first-round picks in 2031 and 33, along with number 13, a pick swap in 2030 and 30 and a 2033 second rounder, all per sources who know what's going on.
This is a shitload of capital to get someone I can't even trust if he's going to stay on the court. That's my biggest worry. And
look at the Knicks last year too. Remember the Knicks were trying to get Giannis so bad and they missed out on him. And then you got Karl Anthony Towns, who obviously brought them a championship. It's like sometimes, missing out is not always the worst thing either.
Yeah, I agree.
It's not like it's a coping mechanism I'm having right now, but it was proven this past year with the Knicks.
No, but like Cowan had just said, unprotected first rounders in 31 and 33, along with the 13th pick in 2030. Well, wait, along with the number 13 pick and a pick swap in 2030 and 2033. So actually, it's 4 picks that they're giving up.
Yeah.
On top of
the draft picks,
the 13th overall pick, which this draft is actually supposed to be a good one, believe it or not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent in the top 15. Yeah. So they potentially just gave up a really, really good player on top of it.
And right now, that pick that would go to Milwaukee per the ESPN mock draft would see the Bucks via Miami at number 13 select Karim Lopez, a dual threat forward who's playing in New Zealand out of Mexico, to be the first round pick of the Bucks at number 13 via the Heat.
Forward. That's what Giannis was.
I just don't get this. This makes no sense. It sounded like Giannis just wanted to go to Miami because it was like an easy ticket out of to go to the Heat to get an easy ticket out of Milwaukee. But he was never healthy. I know he won a title there. I know he had to do a lot of the heavy lifting. He had a lot of pieces around him too. But I feel like people also forget the fact that like Dame Lillard was in Milwaukee for a period of time. If he's not hurt, do they make a run? Maybe. I'm not going to say they definitely would have.
Yeah.
But I think that was the beginning of the end when Dame got hurt.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. That really began to sink the ship because you kept wondering, when you make this move, are you ever going to get it figured out? And they never did. And then you had Lillard's injury. Then you had Giannis get injured with that hyperextended knee, and they never really seemed to finally click or mesh.
But who is the partnered up player in Miami? Because I'm trying to figure that out. In Milwaukee, it would have been Anthony Edwards. In Boston, it would have been Jason Tatum. Who is the partnered up star player in Miami?
I mean, right now, I'd say it'd be Bam, but I don't know if that's going to work for them.
Okay, but I would take Jason Tatum and Anthony Edwards all day over Bam Adebayo. And it's not close either. Bam's a really good player. And let's be careful because everyone thought he was like the biggest star of all time when he put up the 80-plus point game and then they were fouling purposely to get him to the free throw line and all that stuff. But I think it's going to be a struggle in Miami. I do. Like, and now they're showing it all over SportsCenter right now. You think he's going to wear his number 34 in Miami or no?
I don't see why not. I don't think it's retired.
But this is crazy. Like everyone is tweeting out Bam and Giannis as the new duo. Like, are you kidding me?
So let me ask you guys this, because the Celtics missed on the star. Do you think that the Celtics have still a chance to go out and get somebody, like, in terms of not like maybe a superstar, but maybe a star?
At least do something.
They'll do something. I'm not worried about Boston. I think Brad Stevens, believe it or not, has been really good in the front office since leaving the sidelines.
What happens? I mean, this is probably not great, but what about Anthony Davis? Giving Washington a call for Anthony Davis.
I wouldn't do it. You don't want to have an Anthony. You don't want to have an Anthony Rendon contract on the payroll for the Celtics.
I would stay far away from Anthony Davis. I'm hearing the rumors that the Lakers are interested in bringing him back.
I'm good.
And I was like, no. The Celtics will be fine. They need to get pieces that are like B level to support the Tatums, the Browns.
That's why I like Murphy a lot because I think he definitely could help. He averages 22 a game. I mean, at least for the Pelicans, but
Now, I do think the Celtics overspent for both Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and that's that's what's handcuffing the roster. That they're basically held capped on the cap. I mean, I'll look it up, but I can tell you right now, they are probably in the second apron if I had to take a guess.
I would think so. By the way, 34 is not retired in Miami. I just checked.
All right, let's see. So we're looking
Number
for
1, number 3, number 10, 23, 32, 33, and 40 is all retired by the Heat organization.
So the Celtics for the 26-27 season already have over 180 million on the salary cap already, which is 9th right now, at least what they're projecting. Now, that's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And they still got to pay Brown and Tatum, and I have to let me look.
You know
at
who
their
actually
roster.
saw Nick that the Celtics might be possibly bringing back is Robert Williams.
But does that help you though?
Rim protection, defensively, it's all about can you stay healthy. That's the biggest part of them. But
So the numbers they already have on the book for the 26-27 season: Tatum at 58 million, Brown at 57 million. Those two numbers are a problem right there. That's 115 million in two guys.
yeah,
Derek White for a little over 30 million.
yeah,
Damn.
that's a lot.
That's a ridiculous number. I know why he got the contract because he hit the big shots the last time they won the title.
Yeah,
He literally got his teeth knocked out to win a title, essentially.
yep.
Sam Hauser, who's a sharpshooter at best,
He's gone. Yeah, I'm fine with him gone.
but he's on the book for next year for almost 11 million.
What about Pritchard? Pritchard probably has some decent value.
He's almost 8 million in value, which is a lot for him too.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, he was a 6-man. He was a 6-man consideration.
I would keep him though because he fits that vibe.
Yes, he's sticking around. I'm not worried about Pritchard.
But Pritchard at almost 8 million is on the higher side for someone like him. Now, I want to look at Miami's roster because before this, they were 18th in salary. So for the 26-27 season, this is before they make all the adjustments. Bam Adebayo is on the book for almost 50 million. Tyler Hero was on the book for 33 million. That's obviously going to go out the door.
Yep, that's heading to Milwaukee.
Andrew Wiggins, almost a little over 30 million. Davion Mitchell, who's been a good player for them, by the way, almost 12.5 million. Jovic, who little over 16 million. See, this is where they messed up big time. Jovic, who was he the one that had the unfortunate situation with the cancer diagnosis?
I think that is correct.
And also Yaquez. So Jovic was on for 16.2 million. Yaquez, who they should have kept, was under $6 million. They're not thinking. And this is the problem in the NBA today. They don't think about value for players below the star level. So, we could get Giannis, but we have to deplete our whole roster for it. People are not, these teams don't think with their heads. They think with their wallets, or they think in TikTok views and social media views on what
And
it's gonna
jersey
run.
sales. Don't forget that.
And jersey sales, because I can tell you right now, Miami's going to sell out of Giannis jerseys as soon as they get them in stock. But is that going to win you a title?
No.
No. They are not built to win a title.
No, New York's in a better place to repeat. Boston's going to be better. Philly may be better. Like the East is still not, up to the level of what I watch in the Western Conference, but still.
The Knicks, on the other hand, like Dolan already came out and said that he's not willing to spend it to the second apron. So there's no way he's going to get the full team back that he wants if he won't spend it to the second apron because everyone's going to want to raise on that team.
And that went to my point earlier about the fact that it's tough to keep a championship core together when this sort of stuff happens after you win a championship. A lot of guys want that pay raise. Tougher to do in a sport like the NBA, the NFL, the NHL, and MLS, minus baseball, because there's no salary cap until they lock out the players for the next 10 years.
Now, the Giannis reps, and this is interesting, Legion Hoops, and this has been reported forever, that Giannis reps told the Bucks he preferred the Knicks last summer. Now,
yeah, and real quick, Shams had that in his story that Antetokounmpo pushed for a trade with his reps, making it clear that the Knicks were the preferred spot, as Milwaukee and New York briefly engaged in discussions last summer, but New York never believed Milwaukee seriously considered trading its superstar player. The Bucks, on the other hand, believed the Knicks' offers were never serious enough anyway for even going to the table to talk about a potential deal.
I don't think he was ever going to New York. I think that was more blowing smoke up the ass of the Knicks. I think because everyone says, oh, they want to play in New York. I mean, the only one who followed through on that was Carmelo Anthony, who legitimately ended up in New York because he wanted to be in New York for the opportunities. Gee, doesn't that sound like Angel Reese? I mean,
who's now in Atlanta, yeah.
But my point is, I don't think he was ever going to New York. I don't think the Knicks wanted to shell that money out, which is ironic because all the rumors for years is that LeBron was going to end up in New York. That never happened.
I think we also, though, guys, should also mention that how this got really messy towards the very end of the season involving Giannis and Milwaukee, that Shams further writes that when the Bucks were knocked out of playoff contention and Giannis still battling injuries, the team had urged him to shut down for the last month of the season, but Giannis rebuked such requests and remained adamant about coming back to playing, though the final week, through the final weeks of the season, leading to a league-wide investigation over his shutdown by the franchise. The league, though, concluded that no further action was warranted. So that right there almost in a way felt like it could have been like the proverbial straw that breaks the camel's back. The guy wants to play regardless of the record, though, for, as Nick documented on Benchmarks, weeks ago about, star players sitting out games because of, the record's this or you're on back-to-backs. But here's a guy, though, who still, didn't want to drop the Collinsworth, line there, but, here's a guy wanting to go out there and still play for the franchise and the city, despite the fact that the team is nowhere in contention.
Okay, but you're missing a small factor in this, which is different from guys who are doing the proverbial load management, which is the episode I did on Benchmarks, that Giannis had injury history the entire season.
Oh, yeah.
Nope. And for people who are fans of Giannis, they're not going to like what I'm about to say. But Milwaukee was absolutely correct in shutting him down for the rest of the season. And people can say, but Nick, why? He wanted to play. What happens if he did damage to himself, like serious damage, injury-wise?
Look at Tatum. Let's do with Tatum.
Game 7. Put that one aside for a second. But with Giannis, if he got hurt and had to rehab all summer, and they couldn't pull the trade off, who's the one that looks like a jerk? Is it Giannis or is it the Bucks? It's the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Because they know he doesn't want to play there anymore. And by the way, I don't know if you guys saw the tweet that he put out earlier. I'm trying to find it because it was a very.
Ben may have shared it.
I did share. It was something regarding like God.
Yeah, and also, by the way, Christie's right, though, that Giannis had to be protected from himself regarding Nick's point, though, about that the Bucks were absolutely right in telling him, hey, you're done. Season's over.
Here it is. So it's a tweet of a picture looking into the crowd. It's a black and white picture. It says, God, I trusted you at the beginning, and I will continue to trust you throughout. All right, dude. Stop with the subliminal messages. Stop with the I want to be in Milwaukee for the rest of my career. Now I want to be traded. Now I want this. Now I want that. And I hate to say this, but it's like a bad version of bipolar syndrome.
Yeah, well, I mean, every NBA star player does this stuff every time, so this is nothing new.
I understand, but he's been worse than any other big-time athlete I've seen go through this. Even LeBron didn't do shit like this.
Yeah, but Giannis didn't. Yeah, but Giannis didn't have to call for an hour-long ESPN special to say I'm taking my talents to South Beach.
I don't know. Actually, I did the special on that. But my point is
which is coming out July 8th for those wondering.
But first of all, I don't think that was fully his choice. I think he did it. I think the NBA wanted that special as much as LeBron did. Also, not that this helps it by any means, but they did a huge boys and girls charity foundation off of that. But my point is, Giannis has been acting very strange during this whole process, and he kept saying, "I want to be here. I don't want to be here. I want to be here. I don't want to be here." Well, which one is it? Do you want to be in Milwaukee, or do you not want to be in Milwaukee?
There was like the Dame trade too. Remember, like Dame was like so like, oh, I don't know if I want to go or not. You know, it took him forever to leave Portland.
But here's the ironic part: where did Dame end up back in?
Portland.
In Portland.
Yeah,
because I don't think he ever really wanted to leave.
By the way, guys, we have an update. By the way, we have an update from Bobby Marks. Shams just added a bit more to his story, but Bobby Marks of ESPN further reports, and this was put into Shams' story, that Giannis will be eligible to sign, or will be eligible beginning January 6th to sign an extension for 4 years, $275 if he opts out of the current contract, it looks like, or 3 years, $214 if he opts in to the contract, per Bobby Marks' reporting.
He'll opt out.
He'll opt out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have sympathy for Giannis slightly because of the way he's been acting, but he needed to leave Milwaukee.
How old is he right now?
31.
Is he?
He's a year younger than me.
Holy
So you're
crap.
telling me if he signs, he'll be 35. He'll be almost at the back end by the end of the. I mean, I guess if it helps him win a championship, but I don't know.
But he's not going to win anything in Miami the way this team is currently constructed.
Well, look at the landscape of the East. That's the thing. Like, you
Yeah.
know, the Pacers are going to get better. I mean, I think getting Halliburton back, the Knicks obviously won the championship. I still think the Celtics will probably still add. It's just a matter of what. But
And
Yeah,
maybe if Philly can get a full season from Embiid, maybe they might be able to be improved. I like what they have there with Maxey and a few of the guys there, but then again, I don't watch a lot of NBA basketball, so there you go.
Did you say that they're going to get a full season?
I said the key word, bold, italicized, underline, and shadow was
I know.
if they get
I
a full
know.
year out of them.
hey,
I know.
Miami, you can't ruin my party tonight because we still got A.J. Brown in New England.
And by the way, there's one more small detail, by the way, fellas. Now with Portis off to Milwaukee, off to Miami, and Giannis's brother Thanasis, a free agent.
Yeah, I saw that.
No players remain from the 2021 championship winning franchise in Milwaukee.
Hey, reminds me of Callan, the 2018 Red Sox.
But you know what? Miami's got a lot to prove. All right, you made this move. Big deal. Good job. Like, do they want like a round of applause and a cookie, like for acquiring a star? Like,
By the way, we have trade grades from ESPN writers Ben Gulliver and Zach Cram, for those wondering.
I wait before you say it. I think this is going to be like a B minus, somewhere in there.
B minus for Miami. And if I can find where they put the Bucks, B plus.
Oh, I got it right. Yeah.
Quick reasoning given. I don't want to read too far deep into the writing here, but the Heat have a reputation as a destination for the stars, but it's been quite a while since they actually landed a big star. The last time any Heat player finished higher than 10th in MVP voting was the 2013-14 season when LeBron James was the runner-up. Since then, Miami's biggest acquisitions were Jimmy Butler, Goran Dragic, Kyle Lowry, and of course, Terry Rozier, who we know where he's at right now in the Slammer.
In the Who's Cow.
And for Milwaukee, that Giannis's departure closes the book on what is inarguably the greatest individual career in Bucks history. The former number 15 pick in the franchise is the franchise's all-time leader in every major stat category, surpassing games, minutes, points, rebounds, assists, blocks, field goals, and free throws, and has had 56 triple-doubles in Bucks history, with no other player in franchise history even close to double digits. A 10-time All-Star, 2-time League MVP, and 1-time Finals MVP after scoring 50 points to close out the Bucks' first title in 50 seasons back in 2021. But also, it was long past time for both him and the franchise to move on. After years of bad injuries to Chris Middleton in 2022, bad trades involving Lillard and wasted draft picks, which, by the way, the last major impact draft pick made by the Bucks, Dante DiVincenzo 8 years ago. The Bucks are no longer a legitimate contender, even with Giannis still receiving MVP votes. Over the past 4 seasons, 15 teams won at least one first-round series. Milwaukee never did so in the last few seasons.
I mean, I was looking at the Bobby Marks tweet also for Milwaukee because he put out some of the financial stuff. So Milwaukee will also likely create a $25.5 million trade exception off this trade. Also, so they could go out and get somebody, but who's going to want to play in Milwaukee right now?
Yeah, I mean, especially when new head coach comes in. The franchise regressing over the last 5 years. Again, to my point again, that this happens when championship teams, and you say, well, you live in San Diego. How do you know about winning championships? Because I watch enough sports people over the last 18 years and 32 years to know about how this stuff works. If you want more, watch my show on Tuesday where I put people, like a certain former host of this network, in their place every Tuesday night. That everyone, again, that is a part of a championship winning franchise, they're going to want to have a pay bump. And when you have so many shackles of salary caps and aprons and luxury taxes and all this other stuff, it's hard to keep that core together. Again, 5 years removed now, nobody is left in Milwaukee from that 2021 team. And they're right now, guys, a team right now who is in massive transition, ushering in a new era of Bucks basketball up in the 414.
So let's talk about the Caps. So I just came across, I'm sorry if I botched this person's name, but Yossi Goslin, who is a NBA salary cap analyst for Hoops Hype, which is actually a big NBA blog and video platform. And remember how I said, how are you going to make any moves because of the cap?
Yep.
The Heat are now hard capped at the first apron by using the 125% expanded trade exception for Giannis.
Wow.
They have $18.1 million in the first apron space to fill 4 roster spots.
Wow. You got to, so that's going to be like what? A bunch of 1-year league minimum deals practically, maybe a multi-year deal for one player.
Think about when Miami had the big 3.
Yep.
Because they had to pay massive max salaries to LeBron and D Wade and Chris Bosh.
Ray Allen.
Well, think about the guys they brought in, though. It was Mike Miller. It was Rashard Lewis. It was
Mario Chalmers.
No, Chalmers was on the team for a while, but I'm talking about guys like I just said, where Shane Battier was another one.
Yeah,
they were guys that said, "Okay, I'm willing to take less to be on a championship-winning team." The Celtics did that when they went on their run with the Big 3.
Yep.
They had guys like P.J. Brown on their roster. James Posey.
Yep. You obviously have Park, Glenn Davis.
Right. Guys that were not making bank, but they would make it back in the long run if the team won a title.
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll never forget 2008, James Posey.
By the way, here's the 2012-2013 Heat roster. So Ray Allen, there you go. Chris Anderson, the Birdman.
Yep. The Birdman.
Yep.
Joel Anthony, Shane Battier, Chris Bosh, Mario Chalmers, Norris Cole, Udonis Haslem, Juwan Howard, LeBron, James Jones, Rashard Lewis, Mike Miller, Jarvis Varnado, and D. Wade.
Makes sense. I mean, because the Big 3 ate up most of the max money on that roster, so they had to find a way to bring veterans in that were willing to accept the vet minimum to be on this roster to win. Now,
I think that's maybe another thing that Brad was thinking about was like, okay, if we get Giannis, it's like we still have a lot of other pieces we got to focus on. It's like if we get Giannis, it's like how much more of capital can we use, after getting him? And it's like there's probably not going to be a lot of guys that you can prep. It's like, would you rather go out and get a big whale fish, or you can go out and get a couple, plan B whale, plan B fishes, but still be decent on the roster, right?
Yeah, like I said, I don't think the Celtics would have really benefited from Giannis because
his injury risk and the way that the play style. That's the thing. The
thing, and you know this already as a Celtics fan, but I'm talking to every other Celtics fan out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you traded Jaylen Brown and Giannis goes down for, like I said, 4 to 6 weeks, because he was out for a good 4 to 7 weeks, if I remember this past season.
Yeah.
If that happened, Celtics fans would have rioted up the wazoo, including the front office. Say, you shouldn't have made this trade. You traded away Jaylen Brown. Blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't think the Celtics wanted to deal with that backlash.
I've already seen the Lakers, and Callan, I don't know if you've gotten the chance to see this over in LA, but I just saw some articles with the Luka is already kind of having some little bit of tension going on with the Lakers already.
Good. I don't root for the Lakers anymore. I'm a NBA free agent.
I know. I'm just
not
saying.
supporting no damn team owned by Mark Walter and the Dodgers, for God's sakes.
I'm just saying, like in your neck of the woods. I don't know if you've gotten the chance to hear about it or not, but yeah, there might.
If anything, I've probably paid attention more to the two former San Diego basketball teams and the Clippers and the Rockets. Believe it or not.
Right.
I'm trying to understand the logic because, again, there's so many other guys they could have spent that money on to build around Tyler Hero and Jaquez. I get it. Tyler Hero is not a be-all, end-all guy. I've been an NBA free agent for years. Well, you don't have an NBA team where you are, Christy.
Yeah, wait till the Vegas gestures come now that Bill Foley's going to pursue the bid. We'll talk more about that on Wednesday on PR.
Yeah, but this trade makes no sense. And Miami fans are going to want to beat me with palm trees after I continue to say this. But
yeah, they'll throw coconuts at you. That's what they'll do.
Yeah, but sorry, Miami Heat fans. To be honest, I would give this trade an F, to be quite honest. And I know that's being harsh, but Giannis and Bam is not going to be a title. I can't picture that in my mind. Oh, the Miami Heat won a title with Bam and Giannis as two. Is Giannis a 7-footer? I don't even know.
Yeah, I think he's 7 feet.
But can you imagine winning a title with 2 7-footers in your starting lineup? He's 6'11". All right, close enough. My point is, that's 2 big guys that are going to have to fight for position down low.
I feel like the only time that any team has won it, that at least from memory of any team winning a title with 2 guys being over 7 feet, was the 94-95 Rockets, who had the Twin Towers back then.
All right. So you want to talk about personal bias after this trade? You're talking about. I'm looking at this duo from Instagram right here, and I could probably put it into the chat because it's not really the best thing. So from 1 to 10, let's go through the number 1 to 10 list here and see what you guys think. Number 1, they have Bam and Giannis at number 1. Number 2, Brunson and Towns. Number 3, Wemby and Castle. Number 4, Jokic and Murray. Number 5, SGA and Holmgren. Number 6, Cade and Jalen Duren. Number 7, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley. Number 8, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Number 9, Halliburton, Siakam. And number 10, Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels.
That list is so ridiculous in any way, shape, or form.
Jaylen Brown and Tatum not
What were they? You said they were 4 or 5 on that list. Tatum and Brown.
8.
Oh, 8.
They were 8 in the top 10. So they picked Mitchell and Mobley over them. They picked
7 other duos ahead of a duo who won a damn title.
What about SGA and Holmgren, though?
They picked Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren over Tatum and Brown.
No, but wait a minute. What about
SGA and Holmgren?
They have number 5.
I would take that way before I would take Giannis and Adebayo.
Like the ones in the top 5, I could be like, okay, like I could definitely respect Brunson, Towns, and Jokic, Murray. I think those you can make a massive grid argument for top 5. Wemby, Castle, I don't know if that's top 5 yet. I don't. And then Giannis and Bam, they haven't even played with each other.
How can you put them as number 1 and they haven't played yet?
Because it's
Who was the list done by?
This was on DraftKings Instagram.
Well, I'll tell you what that was. That's called betting bias.
Oh yeah.
Because they know, I can already see it this year. They are going to favor Miami to make it look like you should bet on them all season when they are going to lose a ton of games. They don't have a point guard. Who's the point guard on the team now? You traded Tyler Hero. You
Yeah.
traded Yanez. Who's the point guard?
By the way, do we at all buy the notion that this trade is going to just be these two teams, does somebody have to get creative and drag a third or fourth party into this trade? I don't know if I really buy that notion of this being a two-team trade. Like somebody's going to get very creative here to get underneath that apron or back underneath the salary cap. It seems like at this rate.
Yeah, but the report is that they wanted this to be a 1v1 team trade scenario. So if that report is true, then they wouldn't go and pursue another team. So here's so Ira Winderman, who covers the Miami Heat, put out an interesting explanation for the July 6th date for when he can be officially brought in. The Heat will so because this trade will be completed July 6th, the Heat will draft a player at number 13 on Tuesday, but not keep him. Giannis' extension window will open 6 months from July 6th. Neither Heat nor Bucks can comment on the deal until July 6th. The Heat's draft party remains on. I don't know what to make of that, to be honest with you.
I don't either. By the way, another article just came out with a full NBA insider panel involving Jamal Collier, Ben Gulliver, Bobby Marks, and Jeremy Woo, who have answered or have tried to answer some of the biggest questions. And Ben, this one might catch your eye here. This is what they write about what happens now for the Boston's. Well, Ben's gone now, but though, Nick, here is what they're saying, though, with what Bobby Marks thinks about what could the Celtics do now. After losing out on Giannis, the Celtics do not have to do anything with Brown except perhaps repair a relationship that could be damaged again from the failed pursuit of Antetokounmpo. This marks the second time in 4 years that Jaylen Brown has been subject to trade discussions, first with KD in 2022 to Brooklyn, and 4 years later now with Giannis. Brown is under a contract for the next 3 seasons and is eligible to sign a 2-year, $141 million extension beginning in late July. The offseason priority for Boston now remains shoring up their front court. However, doing so likely will need to come in a trade, not via signing via free agency.
So Mark Medina, a guy who I've had on podcasts before, covers the NBA for a lot of different outlets, put out before the Bucks traded Giannis to the Heat, rival executives and slash scouts said Celtics would make a big mistake if they traded Jaylen Brown as a centerpiece in a deal. One NBA executive was quoted saying the high end with Tatum and Giannis is amazing, but then you don't have any depth.
And that's kind of been almost in a way, Nick, this now just came to me. Can we call this almost in a way like LeBron James syndrome, where you get a bunch of shit contracts on your roster, then once the player leaves, you're stuck in salary cap, not purgatory, but you're stuck in a massive rebuild for 3 to 5 years.
Yes, but the difference I would say with LeBron is because LeBron was LeBron James before he hit his 40s and basically has no power anymore except for where he signs, he basically would tell the Miami Heat or the Cleveland Cavaliers, like, if you want me back on the roster, you will bring in the players I want. And he would completely destroy the roster to the point where, you're right, they had to rebuild out of it for 3 to 4 years to come back.
Also, one sidebar, Jeremy Woo also writes that Milwaukee has 2 picks in the first round now at number 10, which is their own, and now that 13th overall pick via Miami.
Yeah, so they're going to be picking twice in the first 15 picks, which is probably good because this NBA draft is supposed to be a really good draft when it comes to the star power coming out of it. But I just don't see how this fit makes sense. Like, I think this was more just because he wanted to play in Miami. I don't think it's because he's going to win a title. Yeah.
Also, Nick, by the way, trying to see who wrote this real quick, that it was written by Bobby Marks, too. How does the deal impact both teams for free agency? Bobby Marks writes that even with Giannis in the fold, plenty of work remains, though, for the Heat front office. The 4 players for one swap not only opens roster spots, but also heightens the importance of of retaining Norman Powell. But for right now, Miami keeping Powell comes with massive financial restrictions because the Heat used more than 100% of their traded player exemption rule in the Giannis trade. They are hard capped at the first apron, with the Heat projected $18 million below, with up to 5 spots to fill. And for the Heat to stay underneath that threshold, it is unlikely for the Heat to fill out the remainder of the roster with players signed to the veteran minimum and still have room to sign Powell. To create that flexibility, by the way, Andrew Wiggins could decline his $30.2 million player option and sign for less, but with an additional season tacked on. For example, a new 2-year, $45 million contract for Wiggins would put Miami $38 million under the first apron. Besides prioritizing Powell, there is a need to replenish the bench with perimeter shooting after losing Hero, a career 38.2% shooter from beyond the arc. Giannis is also still up to sign an extension starting October 1st, but that likelihood is that he waits until January 6th or 6 months after the trade is complete. By waiting, Giannis will be eligible to sign a 4-year, $275 million max extension. The first year replaces his player option for the upcoming season, but he also could opt in to his $62.8 million salary in 27-28 and then extend for 3 years and for $214 million, as we already mentioned, that the Bucks now enter the draft with 2 first-round picks in the lottery. Prior to the trade, Giannis was the only player on the roster that Milwaukee had drafted in the first round, and also that Milwaukee having 15 players underneath contract, not including both first-round picks. The Bucks also have decisions to make when it comes to Hero and Jaime Jaquez Jr. Both players are eligible to sign extensions this summer and are free agents in 2027 if an agreement is not made. And also, the future of Miles Turner should also be discussed now that Milwaukee traded for Khalil Ware, signed last offseason. Turner has 3 years left and $84 million left on his current contract. Damn.
Well, I saw the Yossi Goslin report again saying Miles Turner feels like a natural trade candidate now for Miami. But with the way veterans seem more valued this week post lottery flattening, perhaps the Bucks keep him to help avoid the relegation zone, that new rule, which, by the way, is now going to come into play even more because teams can't just bottom out.
I mean, yeah, are we gonna actually see that tomorrow, or is that next season that it really kicks in? I think it's next year it kicks in.
Right, but teams are going to start saying to themselves they can't just bottom out because they'll end up in the relegation zone, and then they can't, or they don't get as many lottery ball opportunities because of it. I don't know. I'm going to be very interested to see how this trade works, and I don't see Miami. I don't see. First of all, Giannis is a star player. He had a down year, even though he had close to triple-double numbers. That was a down year.
Even with the bad knee.
Right. But I don't see him as a natural leader in any way, shape, or form. But I guess you could say the same thing about LeBron James. LeBron James was not a natural leader, and they still won titles. But he could put the ball in the basket and stay healthy until the last couple of years because of age. But I don't know, man. Miami fans should be panicking a little bit because him and Bam, they're going to be butting heads under the basket. How do you play with 2 guys of that size?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, some teams make it work, some teams don't make it work. That's all I know.
I just, what a way to break the news, though. In the middle of the night, almost
a minute after midnight hit on the East Coast at 12:01, the day now the NBA draft.
Well, they did say it was going to happen before the NBA draft. I guess we got what we asked for.
Mr. Haslam got his wish about that, not us, but the Haslams did.
And I keep reading reports that Haslam was the driver of the trade. And that he kept saying, I don't know if Jaylen Brown's going to stay in Milwaukee. That's why I didn't make the deal with Boston. Even though, in my opinion, Jaylen Brown was the better player. You're telling me that you don't try to convince the guy once he gets there to...
Oh, my God. So if you folks remember, we had Milwaukee's own Bart Winkler join us on Press Row.
Yes.
Bart has taken to IG to do the old joke of the Atintecumpo Brothers coffee shop now being a Spirit Halloween in Milwaukee.
That's great. That is amazing. And he's live right now, so he's probably going to town on
Only if he still had a damn national radio show, I would have tuned in and called him up probably.
Well, are you that surprised? This is interesting. So George Sedano, who is on a lot of the NBA content stuff, said, "You never give up, quote unquote, too much for a motivated championship level superstar who seeks another chance at it. Miami has historically won, or at the very least been to the finals with every star player they had since the Dwayne Wade era."
I mean, that is a true point. I mean, Jimmy Butler got him there, what, twice in 3 years, 4 years?
Okay, but the difference between this star and this roster compared to everybody else, they depleted the whole roster to make this deal.
Yeah.
They didn't freaking deplete the whole roster for Jimmy Butler. They didn't deplete the whole roster for LeBron and Bosh and all that stuff. And Dwayne Wade was in on it. So I'm just not buying this whole thing. By the way, Kevin O'Connor said, star hunting finally pays off for the Miami Heat. Giannis, Bam, Wiggins, Davion Mitchell, Portis, and what else? They gave up a lot of bodies, leaves their roster pretty shallow. Going to be fascinating to see how the Heat complete this team.
Well, if they don't have any bench depth, they're not going anywhere.
Because you can't play Giannis for 48 minutes.
No way, no how.
Especially if you don't want him getting hurt. And he will get hurt at some point. Mark my words.
Certainly. Yeah.
And I'm not saying that is, I hope he gets hurt. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that knowing his body of work, he is going to get hurt at some point. And he'll miss 3 to 4 weeks. And then you're going to get Miami Heat fans saying, "You suck. You suck. You suck."
Loser.
And Miami fans are a little bit irrational at times, too. Heck, didn't we have an episode, or did we plan an episode on talking about the Miami fans leaving before the comeback in the NBA Finals?
Yeah, we do.
And they tried to get back in, and security said, sorry, only one entry per ticket. You can't re-enter. I mean, Miami Heat fans are homers and exaggerators in my book. Think about the teams in Miami, okay? Miami Heat, Miami Dolphins, who haven't won anything since, what, the Stone Age?
72, I think, when they went undefeated.
So Miami hasn't experienced. The only team that they've experienced anything from is the Miami Heat.
Yeah, the Florida Panthers technically also are within the confines of Miami, and they won back-to-back Stanley Cups.
That's true. But my point is,
Inter Miami just won MLS Cup last year with some guy named Lionel Messi playing on their team.
no, that's fair. But I'm saying before all that came in the picture, who was the team that Miami was relying on the whole time? It was the Miami Heat. When LeBron came to Miami and when Bosh came to Miami, you remember they did that whole stupid thing where they rose up from
Not
under the
one,
stage?
not two, not three,
not
not four, not five, not six.
Not 7, even though that was probably the dumbest thing they could possibly do, knowing that they were never going to meet those expectations.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. I'll believe this when it actually happens. If they're going to win a title, which they're not going to, because now they can't afford to get anybody else on the roster. But what do I know? I mean, maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe they'll find a way to turn this around. But
Who knows?
I love Tyler Hero. I thought he was a really good player. And now you trade him away to Milwaukee, where he's going to get lost in the middle of nowhere.
Not really. He's from Milwaukee, so he'll be fine.
No, but I'm saying he's going to a roster where it's Tasmanian Devil spinning around.
Yeah.
Like
Okay, Frank the Tank, we get it.
well, I don't know.
It's godless fucking shit, most godless fucking godless fucking team.
Yeah. But you know what Miami Heat fans are saying right now?
Duh. Winning.
Are we sure about that?
Duh. Winning.
I don't, but, and again, no insult to Miami fans. I don't know if they won this trade.
I don't know if really anybody did, except maybe the Bucks just getting rid of a guy who maybe in people's minds, maybe minus me, became a headache after the last couple of years.
I want to be here. I don't want to be here. I want to be here. I don't want to be here. Which one is it?
Exactly.
I mean, there were so many other places he could have gone. I don't know what other teams really would have worked.
Not Golden State. That's been rumored for a while. Not the Knicks.
That would have been fascinating if he ended up in Golden State.
Not Boston.
Well, they had a trade on the table with Boston. I'm trying to think what teams
Minnesota, maybe with that late push with them making that trade of Randall, but I don't know.
I mean, Christie with an interesting thought. Houston.
Yeah, him and KD, though, on the same team.
But that makes more sense because KD is more of a power forward. Giannis, you could probably put him at the 4 or the 5.
Giannis, KD, and then Şengün.
Fred
Some
Van
of the
Fleet.
guys around them on that rock. That would have been intriguing.
Fred Van Fleet, now that he'll be healthy, hopefully.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. And then, well, but the problem is, I don't think, first of all, Houston would have never given up Şengün ever.
I don't know about Dallas.
Who are they giving up, though?
They're walking into a Tony Vitello situation by hiring a college coach to become their head coach, if you ask me.
Yes, but Dusty May has way more experience than Tony Vitello does.
No,
And he's won a national title.
That's cool and all, but college coaches by the numbers don't always make the best professional coaches.
Oh, no,
sadly.
you're 100% right. I'm not disagreeing. But Dusty May has way more experience than Tony Vitello does. Tony Vitello never was a minor league manager or any of that stuff. Dusty May won a national title where? In Michigan? I mean,
Yeah, this past year.
so he's got experience. So I don't have a problem. And Dallas, where is Dallas going this year, to be honest? Because Kyrie is still coming back from the injury. Klay Thompson is kind of a shell of himself now.
Yeah, I don't know how much he has left in the tank, sadly.
I mean, Klay will be a Hall of Famer regardless because of his time in Golden State. Golden State, I think, screwed him, actually.
I think so. I can buy that notion.
Excuse me. But Giannis, he got his title, okay, in Milwaukee. So he can always say that he was a champion in Milwaukee. Is he going to win a title in Miami?
Probably not.
No.
Yeah.
The team is not good enough. The team will never be good enough, and I'm willing to stand on that front.
Yeah, this will be a lot of wait and see, sadly. I mean, it's only June 22nd. The schedule won't be out till August.
Now, people are going to say, well, where do you see the Knicks? First of all, it is very hard to repeat. Very hard to repeat this day and age. And if Dolan's not going to spend in the second apron, then you're not going to be able to bring the whole team back. So who are you sacrificing if you're the Knicks?
Yeah, like, I have no idea.
I'm just thinking about what you said about the rest of the East. Philly's going to be
I still think the Knicks have to be favored because they're the defending champs. Boston having a full year of Tatum and Brown, though, I mean, now you wonder about that relationship being out the door because this is the second time in 4 years that JB's name's been in trade talks. Can Philadelphia actually get a full healthy year from Giannis along with what they have? Miami, I don't know if it works right away because super teams aren't built overnight and they don't succeed right away.
Well, you can't build the super team anymore because of the cap rules. So it doesn't really, unless you're going to pull a Golden State where they paid over the cap every single year.
Detroit building off last season. Cleveland's kind of stuck in neutral because their head coach is a dumbass when it comes to analytical data.
I'm looking at the standing. Let's look based on the standings from this past season. Detroit's at the 1 seed. Do we see them being a 1 seed again? No, I don't think so.
Maybe
they have a lot of work to do. They
Yeah.
need experience. That's what they need. They need to play games. Because what is this? Back-to-back years they finished as the 1 seed? I think it was back-to-back years they were the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference.
Maybe. Let me go check.
But you have the Celtics, who had no business finishing second in the Eastern Conference this year, with Jason Tatum being out for a good portion of the season.
They were fourth in their division last year and lost in round 1 to New York in 24-25.
There was another year where I think they were the number 1 overall seed, though.
They were fifth before they got into the playoffs in 24-25.
Okay. So I look at Detroit. Their ceiling is high, but they just need to play games. And they need to gain experience. The Celtics were the 2 seed. Tatum was out and hurt. He was not even supposed to play this year.
Somehow he came back in late March?
Yeah, they rushed him back almost. They took it easy. The reason they lost the series is because Tatum was not healthy, because they rushed him back.
Right.
And then they couldn't use him. The Knicks are the 3 seed. It's really hard to repeat. It's really hard. Can you expect this team that just won to do the same exact thing over again?
No, especially if they can't keep the roster together because of where they are financially, and Dolan's remarks that we're not going to spend on the roster.
Well, I don't know how they're going to spend. They just said they wouldn't spend all the way into the second apron. But you're right. They're not going to. If he's not going to spend, how do you keep those extra guys?
He's going to become the new El Cheapo.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. Okay, 4th seed, Cavaliers. I don't trust the Cavaliers at all because they're a great team during the regular season, and then they flame out in the playoffs.
Yeah.
5th seed, Toronto. I don't even look at them, to be honest, because they won their championship with Kawhi the 1 year, and then Kawhi bounced faster than you could say LAX.
Well, it's called aspiration.
Well, which we still don't. Which, by the way, they're saying the report is still not done for it yet. 6th seed, Atlanta. No. Then you hit Philly at the 7th seed. If Joel Embiid is not healthy,
They're screwed.
And Paul George, too. Don't forget Paul George.
Yeah, don't forget that Paul George got suspended for PEDs last year.
And he wasn't healthy on top of it. And I mean, now we're heading down the rabbit hole, but Orlando at 8. I could see them having a better year.
I think they're going to have a better year. Yeah, I think with them having a new head coach might help them out too.
I want to see Orlando succeed. I think they deserve it. But they had the injury. I can't remember the guy's name.
Paolo Banchero had the oblique problem that kept him out for a majority of the year.
No, but the other guy who was a really good rebounder, a good scorer, I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
And I forgot how he got hurt too.
I'm looking at the roster because I tell by the names. Wagner. It was one of the Wagner.
Yeah.
One of the Wagner brothers.
Franz Wagner, I think, got hurt. Yeah.
And he's like a double-double machine. Like he can rebound, he can score. If he was on the court fully healthy, they might have had a chance to go at least one round. At least. The rest of it is kind of a mess at that point. Charlotte at 9, Miami at 10. Now,
so they were a playing team last year. Is their ceiling going to be playing again this year with Giannis on the roster?
No, you depleted your guys. So I think the highest ceiling you can go is the 10 seed right now.
9 or 10, I'd say.
No Hero, no Akez. Those were your 2 main guys last year. You traded your 2 main guys away besides Bam.
Yeah, which they weren't going to do, I don't think.
And last time I checked, Bam is not a point guard. Or I've seen him dribble a basketball. It's not good. Then you had the Bucks. Actually, this is ironic. Miami was 10 and Milwaukee was 11.
Milwaukee was 11.
Milwaukee's not going anywhere.
No,
Milwaukee,
they were 32 and 50 last season. Like they're not going anywhere.
Milwaukee might end up in Wizards territory, possibly.
Possibly.
I'm not going to say they're as bad as the Wizards, but would you be surprised if they had a down year?
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is now becoming a rebuild now for Milwaukee. They got their title, they ran their course, and now you've got to ship off the face of the franchise to get ready for a new era, as I've already said.
I don't know. I mean, Milwaukee's going nowhere. And by the way, we missed the other news that happened before this trade too, with the Timberwolves trading Julius Randle to the Nets.
We made a mention of that. Yeah, that 3-team trade where I said, I was wondering, was this a bit of a late push for Minnesota to try to free up some salary to maybe pursue Giannis? But I even wrote into Nate Miller's show, why would you want to go to the West when it's so damn loaded? You're not going to have a chance to win anything in the West right now at this rate with how stacked it is and how it's been.
Well, let's quickly look at the West because people are going to say, "Oh, we should have gone to the West."
Oh yeah, Oklahoma City, San Antonio, Lakers, Houston, Denver, Minnesota.
I mean, if Golden State was healthy, I would even throw them up there.
Golden State.
After that, though, I mean, the Suns, the Clippers. If Dallas was healthy, I would throw them up there. But Kyrie's not healthy.
No,
because Cooper Flag is an unbelievable player. Like
he's gonna be a hell of a player when he gets more experience underneath his belt. Believe me.
I mean, the matchups we saw, Cooper Flag versus Wemby, the few times, that was incredible. But looking at the West, if you put him in Minnesota, because that's where they said the rumor was he wanted to play with Anthony Edwards.
Mm-hmm.
But who are you trading?
Right.
I'm assuming Rudy Gobert probably has to go back in that deal.
I would think so, yeah.
Who else are they trading? Because you need trade pieces. You probably would have had to trade DeSumo.
Yeah, and they just gave him a massive extension.
Well, because they were able to get out from under the Randall contract. But anyone who says Giannis should have gone to the West and played for Minnesota, you're not beating OKC. You're not beating San Antonio, who is only going to get better with age.
Mm-hmm.
You're not beating, well, Denver might be a little beatable. They have some weaknesses. I think you could beat the Lakers, to be honest, too.
Well, the Lakers didn't have anything to trade anyway. They don't have any first-round picks.
That would have been interesting. Luka and Giannis.
Nah, don't speak that into existence around these parts.
You're telling me you don't think that would have been unique a little bit?
Not with that franchise.
Believe it or not, Luka and Giannis would have, the way that they tandem would have been a good duo on the court.
I mean, maybe, but where's the financing and where's all the draft stock? Oh wait, that's all elsewhere for the next 5 years.
No. I'm not saying the deal could have happened because the Lakers trade picks like it's cash on the side of the road that they picked up. But just that would have been insane if Giannis ended up in LA or Houston with Kevin Durant.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're going to talk about the Lakers, then what would have happened if the same thing would have happened this year where both Luka and Giannis are out at the worst possible time come playoff time and they're swept in round 2?
No, you're fully accurate with that because Luka gets hurt. Now, Luka has changed his ways. He's not, where's that thing I'm looking for?
Fat!
Anymore. Because I don't know if you remember, like Luka was drinking beer. Like,
no. Yeah, I documented that plenty of times as is about him smoking hookah and drinking beer after games, and then he would have fans kicked out of the arena for mocking his weight.
Who was the veteran player that took the beer or whatever out of his hand? Do you remember that?
I don't remember.
But it was a veteran player who said, like,
you gotta stop, kid. Like, come on now.
Yeah, like he literally grabbed it out of his hand and like, really? Like, which, by the way, I think a change of scenery probably changed his life.
Yeah, and maybe and you're talking to the guy who believes firmly in change of scenery helping out. Maybe this helps Giannis in some way. I don't know if it's going to help with putting the ring on his finger for a second time, but maybe it will do something for him getting out of Milwaukee. I don't know.
So according to Richard Jefferson, who was just on Sports Center, he said, quote, if you're Jaylen Brown, that's a compliment. That is a compliment in these spaces where you and Giannis are in the same place.
But
Is it
having your name in trade rumors twice in 4 years, I don't think would sit well with him, though.
Here's the I didn't get to address this fully while Ben was sitting here. I only mentioned part of it, but I don't know what the Celtics are thinking. The guy is an NBA Finals MVP. He probably should have won MVP this year during the regular season because he had to carry the Celtics the entire way.
Because of the fact that JT was out for 4 months out of the year.
And this is the second or possibly third time you've put him on the trade block to trade him away. You were going to trade him for Giannis. Giannis is not better than Jaylen Brown.
No.
You would have been going backwards. But at the same time, Jaylen Brown needs to tone it down. Big time.
Right.
Stop going on Twitch. Stop complaining about fans. Stop saying that every fan is out to get you.
Stop complaining about the refs.
Stop complaining about the refs. Stop complaining about Joel Embiid, who you claim tackled you during that series. You lost the series to Philly because you choked, not because of the refs. I mean, he needs to get off Twitch. He needs to get off Twitch and go focus on basketball. Gee, where have I said that type of phrasing before?
For a different player who plays in Atlanta, Georgia now.
I don't know. Do you find it now? I don't know if it has to do with today's day and age of technology, but I find it, and part of it has to do with that these athletes want to control their own media landscape. But I think these male and female athletes, it's even across the board on both sides. Why are they so attracted to almost being like the face of their own media, and it's getting them in trouble?
That's a hell of a question. I don't know. I think with just maybe to stop having, the regular sports writer or media figures like write their narratives.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But have you seen any of the Twitch stuff? I mean, we've played it before.
Yeah, but I don't really care, honestly.
I just meant like the clips. You've seen it. Like,
yeah, but even then it's like, okay, whatever. I don't really care, dude.
I'm trying to think what the goal is, what he's trying to accomplish with the Twitch stuff. Because he doesn't have an issue with digital following.
No, which I think we should also remind people that he did get a $50,000 fine for his critiquing of his commentary on the streams that he was on during the course of the playoff run for the NBA this past summer in spring.
Because he went on Twitch and was being where's the
dumbass? Being a hack.
I think the problem is because these athletes have their own platforms, they think that the NBA is not going to notice when they go on their own platforms. Oh, this is my platform. You can't find me. Yeah. It's called a media policy. You can't break it.
Yeah, which, by the way, I actually obtained the WNBA's media policy that I sent to Nick Morganson about when we had Scott Agnes on regarding about how they have changed their policies towards media members like Scott Agnes and even us two.
And it's very clear. And this is not just the NBA. This is any sport. You sign an agreement that you're going to talk to the media and you're going to behave when you talk to the media. I think they're going to have to change that policy, though, to include digital media.
Yeah, podcast, game stream, or Twitch streams.
Personal media.
Personal media, like this sort of stuff.
Because I guarantee you the NBA did not love the fact that he went on his own Twitch stream and basically took a bite out of the refs. And that's why he got a $50,000 fine. The problem is, what do you think a $50,000 fine to Jaylen Brown is?
Yeah, nothing. And that's also like, the whole notion too about, why do you care about what fans think of you? That'd be like, Nick and I responding to every single stupid ass TikTok comment we get across every show that we run here on this network.
Now, I jokingly call them out from time to time because they're funny, but like, can you imagine if you and I sat here and went through every little comment that comes in on our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok?
I mean, it'd be like a full 9 to 5 workday if that happened.
I mean, heck, the example, like the video that we just put out on the network account from, what was it, from Cranium? You talking about how the Spurs might have thought the series was going to be a cakewalk, and of course, every moron on social media misinterpreted that as, what do you mean that you thought it was a cakewalk? No, that's the problem. And this is the issue that they run into with athlete personal social media. They hear things and take it as gospel.
Yeah, which, is like the gospel of a former podcast host of this network who always seems to, rain on my parade or rain on this network's parade because, that hot take culture sells. And I even said flat out that doesn't sell on this network. It doesn't sell and it doesn't sell with me either.
Hot take culture is ridiculous, number one. But when you look at these athletes who no longer, I'll give you the example of what this would have been 10, 15 years ago. If a player was not happy with being put on the trade block twice, they would have found the lead reporter insider. Usually there's one for every team. They would have spoken to them and did an interview for the local beat, the local paper. And then the quotes would have shown up. And in this case, it probably would have been like the Boston Globe. And then it would have circulated to TV. And that's how we would have found out. Now you don't need that anymore.
Yeah, now you can just do what we're doing and go live to YouTube and say, hey, here's our next career path.
Right. And he went live to Twitch. Now, I just want to look up one thing because I'm curious.
If he went live about the trade and then rip the Celtics a new one and then rip the NBA media a new one and rip Adam Silver a new one.
Is there such thing as a Twitch following? Like, do you get Twitch followers?
Yeah.
Okay. He has 74,000 Twitch followers.
Sheesh.
Is that a lot on Twitch? I don't know.
74,000, I'd say, is a lot anyway, regardless.
Because, like, in the Twitter world, that's small. Even though that's a crazy thing to say. And I'm just looking this up, too. So, Jaylen Brown has over 905,000 followers on Twitter.
Damn.
And what? The last thing he tweeted out was June 21st, and it was promoting a Twitch stream with Noah Lyles,
the star Team USA track and field sprinter, yes. And that was on Sunday.
The first day of summer. But I find it interesting, like, no one's talking about Trae Young. Like, so Trae Young opted out of what, $48 or $49 million.
And then signed a new contract with the Wizards.
Well, because now his claim was that it was brand loyalty. I don't buy that for a second. He knew he wasn't going to get an offer from now. Would he have gotten offers? Sure. Would it have been? First of all, the Wizards were his bird rights team. So they were the only ones that could offer him more money. But I just find these narratives funny that the fans are out to get me. Come on, dude.
Dude, if we're really out to get you, then give us like $1 million of your salary if you think that people are out to get you, for God's sakes.
If we were out to get you, could we also control the crystal ball and say who's going to win the NBA Finals too?
Yeah, well.
I'm just saying. My point is, like, fans don't have that much power.
No.
Oh, Christie had shared this that Devin Booker is now the only player left from the 2021 finals. On
For how
on
much longer though is he going to stay in Phoenix?
But that's crazy. On either side, he's
He's
the
the only
only one
guy
left.
left from either team from 5 years ago.
Because Portis was on that team, right?
Yeah, Bobby Portis was on that team in 21. And now him and Giannis are in Miami.
The Milwaukee Bucks, what is this? The Milwaukee Bucks do not plan to tender a two-way qualifying offer to Alex Antetokounmpo. That is other brother?
Yes.
Well, there's the answer to that one.
I think they were the first trio of brothers to play for the same team in NBA history.
Oh, God, is this true? This is ironic if it's true. Bucks have now traded two iconic franchise centers 51 years apart.
Yep. Giannis and Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
That goes to show you how low this franchise can get. No.
And why do you think they won 2 titles in 50 years? Why it took them so long?
Can we just say Milwaukee is a shit show of a franchise?
I wouldn't go that far, but that's for different reasons. But also for the fact that the only reason why, by the way, that Kareem wanted out of Milwaukee was because he hated the cold weather. That was it. And that's why he went to the Lakers. Having grown up in LA, you're used to it. Then you go to Milwaukee, which, by the way, they won that first title as a Western Conference team back in '71 over the Lakers. Then by the time they won that title, he wanted to get out of the cold winters of the Midwest and wanted to come home.
Do you think Jaylen Brown is going to be pissed now?
Shoot.
I would say a little bit, right? Just from an ego standpoint.
I mean, you got to think he's got to be peeved a little bit, right? Yeah. And again, it goes back to my thoughts to like, this is the second time that I've been like the trade trade ship for a franchise or for the Celtics. Like, I feel like that the franchise has a little bit of explaining to do to Jaylen Brown come their first day of training camp.
I mean, the only answer that they can technically give is, we gave you $300 million.
And we can't afford to pay that salary anymore.
I thought it was a mistake when they made the Celtics made the choice of saying, we're going to pay Tatum and Brown both $300 million each. Who thought that was a good idea? You depleted your salary cap for the next
Pretty much
6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
You can't afford that.
No way,
That's
no how.
ridiculous. I mean, I don't know. But in case you missed the long debauchery, Bucks trade Giannis Antetokounmpo, Bobby Portis to Miami for Tyler Hero, Kalal Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kasparis, Chakiunis, and draft picks. I don't think Miami's winning any titles. I'm just going to say that now. And Miami fans might hate me, but think from a basketball standpoint, not a bias standpoint. Trust me, Giannis is a star. I'm not taking that away. Giannis is probably a top 10 player in the NBA. But if a top 10 player in the NBA can't stay healthy, is it worth it?
Yeah, and I think that's the proceed with caution or the risk reward you take with a move like this. And we know that Pat Riley Nick has never really been shy to not pull the trigger on a move like this when he got Alonzo Mourning or Shaq or pulled off the heist of getting D Wade, Bosch, and James, even if that was with collusion or conspiring, whatever, or what have you. Then how he got Jimmy Butler. He's not afraid to take the big swing when he has to take it. But is this the one where Pat Riley finally does strike out? Who knows?
I think he went more for the weather. Because there's so many other places he could have gone to win.
Yeah.
But I don't think Boston was the answer either.
No, I don't think you want to wreck what you've built in Boston. And even if the Knicks would have got him, like, you don't want to wreck what you've already built. And I'm glad that neither team chose to do that. Miami takes the bait for right now. We'll see what holds up with it. But I mean, I hate to see it, but it is the end of an era, though, for the Bucks and for Giannis with their 13 years together now going down the wayside.
Now, how do you find someone like Giannis, the Greek freak, the next big guy in Milwaukee? Like, they're literally going to have to go through a full rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, and that's again for like the 10th time in this stream that has gone back to my point this entire show that when you win a title, again, I know I don't have that experience because my season number one shit. I get that, people. But again, I've been around sports my whole life and you see it firsthand, mainly again in sports like this, in the NFL, the NHL and MLS, you can't keep the roster together after you go on a run like this. Yeah, you could say, well, the Lakers won 3 in a row, and the Warriors did this. Well, that's those are like what 1 in 1,000 that it's happened, or like once in the last 20 plus years that it's happened, or 26 years it's happened. They're usually one-offs that you have repeats. But then again, guys demand more money, guys demand more playing time, maybe. And it's tough to do so again, and I think the undercurrent of like when the Lakers did win those 3 in a row, that really, though, Nick, began to show the friction between that franchise at that time with Kobe and Shaq being on polar opposite on opposite ends of a stick, though. Hey, are you team Shaq? Are you team Kobe? And you start having the team fracture because you have to pick one star player to be with. And that, in a way, is what doomed them in 04 when they lost to Detroit. And then Shaq obviously left and won his title in Miami in 06. Clown Kobe at a nightclub after they got beat by the Celtics in 08. Then obviously Kobe won 2 more in 09 and 2010. But this stuff happens all the time usually in sports, that you can't maintain the roster. Guys go elsewhere, and then eventually the franchise, even like a Milwaukee, again, small market, yes, it takes them a long time, but it takes them a long time though to get back to the top of the mountain after they have a run like this.
And by the way, can we not bitch and moan about the Celtics? The Celtics have had an incredible history.
They've won 18 titles, people. I'd love to have like one of those in San Diego. For
that's
God's
what I'm
sake.
saying. No. That I'm agreeing. Like that. Like Celtics fans, Ben has had it so easy as a Celtics fan. It's not even funny. My team hasn't won shit. My Nets haven't won anything, and I've been a fan since
Birth.
all the way, birth. The Knicks fans, they got their title. Okay. The Yankees, I've been fortunate since I'm 96 when I was 3 years old and started to be a Yankee fan. I've seen titles. I'm trying to think. Well, forget it. My Jets are a fucking joke.
Yeah, well,
I'm never going to see them win a title. My NFL team hasn't won shit since 1995. Oh, wait. You mean this team?
Goddamn cowboy.
Ugh. I don't know. I mean, Celtics fans have had an amazing run. Miami Heat fans had an amazing run. But I don't want to hear bitching and moaning from Celtics fans. I don't. You guys have made amazing runs. You've been to the finals many years. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, you had 2 young guys fall in your lap to draft.
yep.
Man, you'd be killing for titles in San Diego right now. Right?
Exactly.
I don't know, man. But that'll do it. What do we have coming up? Actually,
Cranium is on Tuesday.
you and I are going to be part of a strange doubleheader because of the way my show ended up working out.
Yeah.
So little timing update here. Empty the Bench will air at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Later today now on the East Coast. Due to me forgetting I had a dentist appointment. So
oh no, cavities.
Don't get me wrong. I'll drill all the Bucks and Celtics fans later live on the show. But that's going to be a good show. We have a lot of interesting topics. We're going to get into the whole Craig Carden versus Dan Le Batard debate, which, by the way, you and I are going to spend a whole heck of a lot of time on press row on Wednesday. Also, Dan Hurley pitches a White House game after the UFC Freedom 250 card. Stephen A. Smith booed during the Roommates Show live podcast. That's the Knicks podcast with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart, and I forgot who the last one is. But
Yeah, they're those prices are terrible.
well, you're talking about the Fanatics thing, which we're going to do on Press Row. $935 for just a picture.
No, thank you.
I could go buy autographs. 5, 6.
To say exactly, yes.
I could probably go buy 20 autographs with that money. Also, we're gonna get into the James Dolan apparently accepting the invite to the White House, but not telling the players. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
And then what do you have coming up on Cranium, which will be following?
We will recap the Brady Kachuk trade that happened in the NHL. We'll give you a World Cup update, talk more about this story, but also grind the gears about will Dusty May actually succeed in the NBA when historically college coaches don't make the best pro coaches, with the exception of a couple that are rule.
Yeah, we're gonna cover Dusty May too, also going from Michigan to Dallas, which I think nobody expected. And there was a report that John Shire was actually offered the job first, the Duke head coach, before Dusty May took it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's double barrel action. ETB Sports, 7
We'll
p.m.
have double
Eastern.
barrel action too, I believe, Wednesday, July 1st. I know it's about a week or so away, but that is the press row episode featuring Chicago Bulls legendary PA voice Ray Clay. And then we will have ETP to recap Team USA's knockout stage match on July 1st as well in the evening.
Wait, it's on a Wednesday?
Yes, July 1st.
I did not know that. Okay. So you're getting tons of double barrel action. By the way, ETP has been doing so well. Been doing really well since we brought that show in.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
World Cup coverage has been great. And I think the plan is that we're going to have a soccer show once that ends.
Woo. Woo.
I know exactly what you want to tell people what you're
If
doing.
you have not seen the Norwegian fan base, by the way, doing the road chant, you've got to go check it out.
Were they the ones that also did the row on the escalator that was
going up at Boston Stadium in Foxborough? Yes.
That made me die laughing big time. I'm like, and it was in unison. It was like, it was in time. Like, it was like,
you should do it to the beat of the drum.
No, but they were doing it just on the stair. Like, row. I'm like, what the hell is going on here?
And then it happened the day, too, when they were going to MetLife.
Oh, did they?
Yes, I think so.
See, this is the thing I'm getting confused with, like that they're traveling around the tri-state areas with some of these teams. By the way, Scotland fans, I think, deserve the number one fan of the cup. I think they drank enough beer.
They outdrank Boston. That's just insane.
I didn't think that was possible, by the way. But thank you to everybody that came in. 165 people watching with us here. We'll do more of this Giannis trade stuff, like we said, on ETB Sports and Callan's Cranium. So make sure you stay tuned for those shows. 7 p.m. Eastern time, 4 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific for both of those shows. Leading right into Press Row the next day. So don't miss a moment. We have a lot of great content. If I can just find the banner, if you have them in here. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/ETB Network. Make sure you do that. It helps us grow the numbers. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Watch everything that we're doing as we continue. We are just at about 2,500 watch hours.
Let's go.
And we have a goal, 4,000 watch hours to hit monetization, so we can bring the fire to more content.
Oh, yeah.
So as we continue to have some amazing ideas behind the scenes that we are working on currently. So as I said, youtube.com/ETB Network. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out the YouTube shorts that we're doing. I'm trying to pump them out as fast as I possibly can. Like I said, don't be afraid to comment. unlike certain people who used to be here who got sensitive every time they read a bad comment about themselves. You and I, we kind of just read the comments, and we sometimes even laugh at some of the comments that come in because they're hysterical. So always comment, good, bad, indifferent. Just don't say any hate speech stuff, please. Please. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
If you don't have if you're going to say something racist or religious or whatever, don't say it.
Yeah.
If you want to question an opinion we had, go nuts and do it all day. I don't care. That's the whole point of this industry, right? There's always two sides to every opinion of everything that goes out. You could be right, wrong, and it's all good. The whole point is a spirited debate in sports. So that's it. But if you missed it one last time, Giannis Antetokounmpo traded from Milwaukee to the Miami Heat a little earlier than expected, probably. But it's done. But it can't officially be put in the book until July 6th. So you're going to see this song and dance again. You're not going to see any more live streams on it, but the song and dance will come back out on July 6th when they make it official. But that'll do it for this live stream. Thank you to the 165 people watching. He's Callum McClurg. I'm Nick Morgan. Said we will see you for ETB Sports and Callan's Cranium later today and tomorrow. So have a good night, everybody. We'll see you then.
Have a good night.